You are the Holy Grail, the Magdalene. Woman, no need to search any longer. The priest is...
Welcome to the Woman Arising podcast, hosted by Cathy Hartenstein and Zeffi Devi, where we elevate and celebrate inspiring women on the rise. In this podcast, we talk to women from all walks of life about their soul's journey, the obstacles they overcame, and how they embody their feminine power. We hope to elevate the women's place in the world, showcase their contributions, and provide inspiration for all women to rise to their fullest potential. Today, our guest is Reece Leonetti, a certified Reiki master teacher, a licensed massage therapist, and a retreat leader. She holds a master's degree in Oriental Medicine from Emperor's College in California and has been an entrepreneur and consultant for 20 plus years. She currently serves as the Director of Business Development for Meditation for Leadership. In 2010, she opened the Body Mind Energy Center in Denver, Colorado, and now has a location in Pueblo, West Colorado. She has helped thousands of clients and students over the past 25 years to powerfully release their blocks and step into their personal power so that they can reach their greatest potential and lead a healthier life. Welcome, Reece. It is our honor to have you with us today. We are excited to hear about all the many aspects to the work you do and how you've been committed to elevating and uplifting women in so many ways over the years.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with the two of you.
Thank you for coming on, Reece. We're really excited to have you. So what I wanted to ask you is, when you hear women arising, when you hear that, what kind of emotions that brings up for you? What kind of feelings it brings up for you? How do you see it? How you feel it?
I'd say, there's the analytical side of me, and then there's the emotional side of me. On the personal level, though, it really means personally for me, stepping into my own personal power and celebrating my own accomplishments and growth as a woman and ultimately a human being. So having an energy healing background, I will always go to the feeling sensation where it is in my body, and it immediately comes up in my throat. So that's where I feel that sensation most, in my throat chakra. So many of my experiences have been around learning how to use my voice. And so my voice was oftentimes stifled. Growing up, I'm a Pisces. First of all, that might give you some insight. I'm very introspective. I've always been an introvert as a child. I was the middle child. So all of these things, I think, it was difficult to find my voice in the chaos of, family dynamics. And I think the throat chakra is really where I feel it most when you ask that question.
That is amazing, because, the throat chakra has to do with our expression and who we are in life, and also connects to our womb. So it's like the combination of that, the creation through your throat chakra, your expression is very powerful. And thank you for feeling it in your throat, because I think I have to say something that I did a couple of days ago, and I know I'm going off thing, but I had to actually give a loud scream just because I was ready to release something big. And I think when we do those kind of expressions in our voice, it's so powerful. And I felt like everything was released. I just needed one big scream, So I understand the throat chakra, and thank you for that. I really, really, it means a lot to kind of share with the audience of that. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's true when, you think about rising and coming up and finding your voice is a really big part of that. And being able to be, in your truth, because I think of that throat chakra a lot, about being able to express that truth and what that is. And, to reference what Zeffi's talking about, that primal scream, right? That ability to be here, to be seen, to be heard. I really can connect that as well.
It's a lifelong process, right? We're always going to be tapping into that power our whole life.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times women have not been able to feel comfortable or confident having their voice and being heard and being seen in that way. So I love the connection between that fifth chakra and the idea of women arising. You have such an interesting background. I mean, I've known you for over 30 years, I think now, Reece, and
I know,
many
it's hard to
different
believe.
lifetimes. But I've always just been very impressed with your ability to follow your passion and explore so many different things and succeed at them. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your life's journey and kind of how you got to where you are today and how you put this sort of way in which you work inside the world together.
There's so many things that I could mention. But before I kind of want to tap into some of those things, I wanted to mention something that you said, Zeffi, about the throat and the womb, the throat and the sacral chakra. One of the things that I do in my healing work is I work with the color wheel, and I work with the opposite colors in the opposite chakras on the color wheel. And so the throat chakra is blue and the sacral chakra is orange. Those are opposites on the color wheel. And so that is just a huge part of the work that I do is by balancing those chakras. And so I just think it's so cool that you're in tune with that as well. So to answer the question on my life journey, there's a number of experiences that kind of set me on this path at a very young age. I was very in tune to spirit guide energy. So I was very connected with nature. There's a lot of chaos in the household, just, at any household there is unhappy parents, fighting in the house. And so I would oftentimes go outside and just sit with my back to the tree. And I didn't realize that I was connecting with nature. I was pulling the energy from Mother Earth through the roots of that tree, which I now know I was doing, and that was calming and centering me. So I think that being the introvert and the shy one and not being able to really use my voice at a young age was a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to go and connect with nature and understand how to use that very powerful energy to heal myself and then ultimately to heal other people. So learning that from a really young age was very impactful. And then you have a spirit guide. I think we all have imaginary friends, as children. And to me, that is the same thing as a spirit guide. Have you seen the movie If, the John Krasinski movie If? It's a really beautiful story about that, remembering your childhood imaginary friend and remembering how to play with that, how to tap into that magic and utilize that friendship to bring the magic out in you as an adult. So that definitely was impactful on my journey, in addition to a couple of other impactful life events, such as I was an exchange student to Germany my senior year of high school, which was amazing. Many years later, I actually had a near-death experience 2 weeks before graduating from my acupuncture school. That was pretty intense and impactful. I think just kind of overcoming some of those trials and tribulations has really brought me to where I am, in addition to others, of course.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question. Like, how have these obstacles really shaped and defined you? And then, some of these different things being on your own healing journey and then going into wanting to heal others, what was that moment and how did you kind of discover that path for yourself?
Yeah, I think I was kind of a floater. I was very, lost. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. From a young age, I was always very creative and artistic. I had gone to Boston, where I had indirectly, prior to Boston, I had worked in Chicago for Blue Man Group. I was a props manager and a personal assistant for Blue Man Group, a theater production here in the United States. And I ended up in Boston through that organization and transitioned to what my undergraduate degree is in international relations. And so I ended up working for a think tank in the Boston area, which was really fascinating. Kind of seeing that side of life, and had a secret level clearance. I'd go to Langley for meetings. I'd run organize these meetings, and it was really really cool, but it just didn't feel like my life's purpose. So long story short, had a bad breakup, ended up moving all the way across the country to Portland, Oregon, and had some healing sessions there that really woke up my third eye. So there was an esthetician. It was actually an esthetician that I went to, and she was working on my face, and I could see the light coming out of her hands. And I don't even know if she knew she was doing it, but it was just transformational. And from there, I felt my heart had lifted above where it used to sit in my chest. And I knew that I had to look into this because there was something magical about it that took me back to my childhood time sitting by the tree and, connecting with the energy of the tree.
Wow, that's fascinating. And then what happened? So after that, where did you go from there?
So from there, went to Chicago, where I loved Chicago, was there for many years, and studied massage. So I went to massage therapy school. Things just kind of point you in the right direction as they do. Couldn't find a job as an analyst in Chicago, and said, okay, I'll just see what other doors open. So I started, looking into the Reiki and the energy healing. And then I walked by a massage school, happened to be walking right by a massage school that had a sidewalk sign outside, said classes starting next week. And so, if there's a sign that you have to pay attention to, there it was. So went to massage school, studied Reiki. I found my Reiki master teacher, Diane Lozano, there, studied with her for many years before she passed away, and found myself really wanting more. So I just wanted to learn more. I felt like it wasn't enough, like there was more that I could do. So I applied to acupuncture school and always wanted to learn how to surf. So I decided to move to Los Angeles and pursued my acupuncture schooling there, where I was there for 4 years.
Wow. And as you were going through this, what were some of the things that you were discovering that were shaping how you became a healer and what it meant to you to be a healer?
I think that just really tapping into who I was, like reconnecting with, playing with the energy as a child and really being able to bring that in to my massage clients and actually, feel that energy come through me, through my hands. I had a client that had a liver transplant, and during the session, I could feel there was a different energy in her body. It was not her energy. And just experiences like that have really made me understand that this is my purpose in life, to really help people heal their own bodies, and heal their own minds.
I love that discovery through all of these different journeys. So, in this process, what were the things that you really learned about yourself that really opened up who you are and sort of helped you to build these businesses and do all of these things and have almost a fearlessness about you?
I think there's those pivotal experiences that you have that bring you to your lowest of low, that you have to muster up the strength to climb back up the ladder. And I think, it's kind of those experiences that really get you to where you are on your life's journey. But having an accident 2 weeks prior to graduating from my 4-year acupuncture master's degree program, major accident, head trauma, grade 5 concussion with a slight brain bleed. I had a pelvic fracture, torn ACL. And so all of this happened 2 weeks before I graduated, 2 weeks before I was supposed to walk, and receive my diploma and then take my board exams for licensure, become a licensed acupuncturist. And so when life turns on you like that, it's very challenging, and you start questioning it. Why do these things happen? And I think other things that have happened in my life, such as having a child late in life and then losing that relationship due to alcoholism. So my father's child was an alcoholic. And so, manifesting this wonderful human being to co-create a child with, and then losing that. So there's been a lot of losses. I think that really question the why. Why do these things happen? And then they really force you essentially to tap into your own inner wisdom and trust that there is a process and there is a reason for many of these things. I think that a lot of the things that happen are actually created with your own thought process and your state of mind. So that really puts you in check. When things go downhill for you, you need to look back. What was my thought process? What was going on in my mind? What was happening in my life? And really check your thoughts, because your thoughts truly, I believe, create your reality. And when I look back to those times when I had those losses, those deep losses or those deep trials, my mind wasn't vibrating at a high frequency. So I think that everyone experiences trauma or loss, and it's really just a checkpoint on your life's path to stop and ask for help if you need it. Get a life coach, get a therapist, go see a healer, whatever it might be, but just checkpoint for reevaluating and then realigning.
I love that. And I think that's true. So often, like, we're creating our reality subconsciously and not really understanding that. And then to really be conscious and intentional as we're dealing with these things. I mean, you are very resilient, Reece, right? You've gone through lots of different things at lots of different times in your life, and you have this resilience and this ability to move forward. And I think that that's a really strong trait, but maybe that's part of it, is being able to look at that and shift your mindset and think about it in a different way, and then to call on that healing energy and that energetic power that you have. I know you have been really good at being the architect of your life in a lot of ways. And so I imagine you didn't let sort of whatever that sexism or that patriarchal society determine much for you. But I am curious, like, where do you see that manifesting? Is there times when you have had to deal with that on some aspect in your life?
I think all women have felt that at some point in our lives, and that's just the divide that exists in our culture today. And unfortunately, we're all affected by this. I think the first time I really felt that was working as a massage therapist and coming against sexist, behavior, or, massage therapists are sexualized. And so having to really navigate that, and I felt like I couldn't show up truly as a feminine sexual woman to the massage, because there's that energy and that stigma that comes with that field. And so that really is what motivated me to want more, to learn more, and to pursue the Chinese medical degree. And another scenario I can think of where I felt that way was right before COVID. I had transitioned from the healing arts world to the tech industry. So I had transitioned, and it was the strangest thing. It happened right before COVID, where I knew I was a single mother. That was a huge challenge. And I was running my business, Body, Mind, Energy Center in Denver alone, and was incredibly overwhelmed dealing with being a single mother and then running a business. And carrying that energy for others. I needed to step back and just take a breather and reevaluate. And so once again, you question, why is, higher being asking me to do this, to step away from what I'm called to do in this life and to help people. But you have to trust that process and move into that next thing and learn and grow from it. So working from the bottom up, I got in as a sales executive. I had to shut my Body, Mind, Energy Center business down for a while, and needed to support my son. So ended up getting into software sales, worked my way up in software sales positions from a junior sales executive to a sales manager of a small tech company. And so kind of working through different organizations in the tech industry, there was a mostly male leadership and incredibly toxic. It was just the antithesis of womanizing. It was just brutal. And once again, asking myself, why am I here? What do I have to learn from these men that are very toxic in nature and not inspiring me, not motivating the team, not doing the things that needed to get done. And so I think those journeys, have really also helped me understand how important it is for, today, for women to rise up and share their knowledge, share their wisdom, and plant those seeds for younger generations.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. Your life is amazing, and you're still here to talk about it. And to me, that is extraordinary for women rising, because this is what it's about. Correct? We have to rise to every occasion that comes in front of us. And through this whole process, did you feel there was times that you kind of found your femininity, or you kind of maybe lost it, or maybe you discovered it, or all of the above, or just one of it?
Yeah, I think feminine power for me is when I'm teaching others to feel empowered themselves And so through all of those experiences, I've just really learned to become a good teacher and pass on some of the things that I've learned, some of the knowledge that I've learned. There's an African proverb that says, each one teach one. And so that was a saying that was kind of spread throughout, the United States during the slave days, when they were not allowed to teach. They were not allowed to be educated. They were not allowed to teach. And so for me, being feminine empowers that concept of each one teach one. It's kind of my responsibility to teach others how to manifest the life they want, how to clear the trauma that they're holding in their bodies and in their hearts and in their energy field. So I think that femininity definitely has risen to the surface for me. I think when I was very young, I was very in tune with it, but I was asked to be quiet or not speak up. And so kind of seeing the ways in which I can contribute and help people and teach people has really brought that feminine power to rise up again and hopefully make a huge impact in the world. That's my goal.
Yeah, I like that because, I think we are the teacher and we are the student at the same time, simultaneously, so we're learning from our experience and then we can transfer that to others. And do you have an advice that you can have to younger women that just kind of started on the path or they're ready to discover the path?
I do. I think that fear is the biggest culprit for growth, especially for women, especially, looking back over the years, just looking at politics, we've been stuck in this state of fear and not really stepping into our power as women. And so my advice for younger generations is learn how to differentiate fear from fact. So fear is the worst culprit that will continually keep you sidetracked from your path and succeeding to become the most brilliant version of yourself, and get someone to help you, manage that, understand that, and know that that fear is separate from you. It's not a part of who you are. And it's something that can be cleared.
Yeah, I agree with you on the fear part because I think in any age, not just the younger generation, but any age, the fear is really there. You even see successful women having that fear of what is my next step and am I going to be successful? And, so they lose themselves and they become the doers. They become in that masculine energy, which doesn't serve them most of the time. And that also gets them, sick and gets them tired of working. And they're like, what am I doing here? And they don't know how to change their lives. So I agree with fear in any age, in any aspect is, it's very important to be released. And I'm glad you're doing that in the world and helping women to release that fear because, if we don't release the fear, then we live in fear and then we don't live our lives. Correct. So yeah. So that's very important for me to bring that across. So in this way, how would you shape our collective world?
I'm going to mention a book that I discovered that really helped kind of open my eyes to what it means being a woman. Have you heard of the book, Our Bodies, Ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Yes. From the
So,
70s.
yeah, it was first published in 1970, and it's it's the Bible for many women for many years, probably more our generation. But I wonder, like what is happening now that is really like that for women. I don't see that. I don't know what it is, and I feel like we've gotten stagnant in many ways, kind of accepting the norm. Again, after feeling an enormous defeat in women's rights, after losing Roe v. Wade and in other ways, I feel like we've gotten so that fear has come in, and it's really stifling women to create that social change. But in order to create that change, we need to overcome the fear of using our voices again and the fear of being defeated, because, we've been defeated our whole lives, but the fear is, as I mentioned earlier, is the culprit that is going to continually shove us back down until we conquer it. And I think we are at a very pivotal time for women in this country, and we need to get up and, get back out there regardless of any outcome, and overcome the fear. We must unite and not divide like we have been. And I think it's a really interesting time we're living in, and that's definitely shaped kind of my strength to come out, kind of seeing that defeat and that fear take over. And my mission and my way of hopefully shaping the world is to help women rise up to see that fear and that they can overcome that and accomplish their goals to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It seems like every generation of women, and it just came up for me as you were talking about, we get threatened with something. We get threatened of losing who we are. And now it's even happening more intensely because we trying to, stand up, and all of a sudden we get like a smackdown, and then we have to get up again, and we have to keep doing that because right now, whatever is going on out there, it doesn't matter. Anything that's happening out there is still threatening women right now. It's threatening women in a big way. And I think you were very right of saying that, that we need to let go of fear and stand up and speak our voice and come out there and stop being hidden, hide. We cannot hide anymore. Oh, it doesn't matter what kind of movement we have behind us. It doesn't matter if we call priestesses, goddesses, whatever, we need to come out there and say, stop, enough is enough. You've done it over the years, thousands of years, over and over again. So my question would be now is, how do you cultivate your feminine energy? What do you do to really connect to yourself and to really feel you 100%?
I'm a very spiritual person, so I have a very personal relationship, I feel like, with God and higher power. I was raised Catholic, but moved away from Catholicism at a young age because I couldn't understand why women couldn't be priests and why we couldn't use contraception, to protect our bodies and our health. And I remember one of my favorite classes at DePaul University was world religions. And so that was just the most phenomenal class. It just opened up my eyes to understand, different perspectives. And I started looking into Hinduism and Buddhism and paganism, and things started making a little more sense to me. And I think there's a spiritual movement happening now that is helping women to see beyond that divide of, women are here and men are here. And I think it's helping women to rise up from the confines of that organized, structured, kind of male-dominated religion that has been our only option in our culture here in the United States. And what I'm hopeful and what I'm starting to see is that history is starting to become her story, and it's unfolding before us. I'm hopeful. We don't know what's going to happen, but for me, my mindfulness and meditation practice have also been a huge component of my spirituality and my sanity. Learning to quiet my mind in my younger years, connecting with the tree energy, healing my heart. I was meditating and I was connecting with nature and using those elements to heal my heart. And that's really, really powerful for me. It's shaped who I am today and has been integrated into my healing practice. And I utilize nature and meditation and spirituality a lot in my healing sessions. And so it's definitely been impactful in my life.
Really interesting to go back just a little bit about not living in fear, Reece, because I know you well and I feel like you are very fearless, and how that connection when you were young and found that deep connection to your spirituality and nature, that has been maybe a really grounding force for you. So as all these things have come at you, you've really been able to have that to tap into, to readjust yourself, to remember the path that you want to walk. That's really exciting to hear what that synthesis is there. I'd love to hear, as we've reflected on this really grand life of yours that has every possible direction in some ways. What do you wish somebody had told you as a young person? Like, what is that one piece of advice that you kind of wish you had gotten on your journey?
Well, it's funny. I don't feel like I've had a grand life you described. But I think that being a woman can be very lonely and difficult, and being a human being can be lonely and difficult. But find a group of women, or find a life coach, find a healer, find someone, a mentor, whatever it might be, to help you stay on that path and to keep you inspired and to keep you, going. I think that one of my favorite authors is Bruce Lipton, and he wrote The Biology of Belief, that really transformed me on a personal level to understand that you can be in control of your destiny. You can be in control of your health. Your thoughts actually create your reality on a cellular level. And so there's another book that really inspired me, The Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Emoto. And just, bringing that truth in, seeing the water cells change with your thoughts by putting that energy of your thoughts into the water cells, they look completely different. And so that has really impacted me as a healer, to know and to see truth and fact. It is a fact that your thoughts create your reality. So being a woman, I would recommend other women to step into that, to get some training in that, to find a mentor, find a teacher, find a healer, whatever it is, a therapist, just anyone who can help keep your mind healthy and vibrant so that you can stay on that healthy path.
I love that. Well, this has been so great to get to hear about you and your wisdom, and for you to share it with us today. I would love to hear how people can actually connect to you and experience some of this amazing work that you're doing, and what's coming up that people can participate in.
Yeah, so I am very active on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is Reiki Reece. So also on Facebook, I have Body Mind Energy Center on Facebook. Of course, my website is bodymindenergycenter.com. I'm always accepting new clients for life coaching, spiritual coaching sessions. Those are done virtually or in person at my Denver office or in Pueblo, West Colorado.
Well, it's really exciting. And I have to say, I have been the recipient of many of these wonderful modalities that Reece works on, and spent time with her in that retreat energy. And I can't recommend enough that you reach out to her and participate in these wonderful things that she offers. She's a very powerful healer. And we were so honored to have you as our guest today, and to for you to share so much of your wisdom and your life story with us. So thank you, Reece.
Thank you
Thank you,
both
Reece.
for doing this. I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and I think it's helping. It's going to help hundreds of women. So proud of both of you.
We thank you so much. And it's great to have women like you on our podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Woman Arising, where we celebrate the resilience, wisdom, and power of women on the rise. Remember, when women rise, we all rise. If you're ready to embark on your journey of empowerment, sign up for our mailing list at womenarising.com and join our community of strong, inspiring women. To connect with Zeffi Devi and ignite your inner fire, visit zeffidevi.com and sign up to get your free tantric meditation. Let Zeffi illuminate your path, helping you discover the magic and power that reside within you. To connect with Cathy Hartenstein and claim your spectacularness, visit createmorebliss.com and sign up for a free 30-minute consult call where she can help you break through your emotional blocks to success. Let Cathy be your guide on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Thank you for being a part of the Women Arising community. Together, let's continue to uplift, inspire, and empower women everywhere. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep embracing the divine feminine power that resides within you.
You are the Holy Grail, the Magdalene. Woman, no need to search any longer.